This little monologue I first learnt about 70 years ago and performed it in one of my parents' shows. I've had no reason, except possibly on a couple of occasions, to ever use it since. But it's amazing how things learnt when young can stick in your mind. And this little piece is well worth remembering, I think. Providence. Have you ever been broke? Just broke to the wide, with just what you stand up in and nothing beside? Living on scraps for the best part of a week when you can find them and know where to seek? I've been like that. On a cold winter's night when the streets were deserted and nothing in sight but a slow-moving bobby, whose job is to see that the public's protected from fellas like me who get put inside to answer the court while they're wandering around with no means of support. Always struck me as a queer sort of joke to pick on a fella just because he's broke. Do they think he enjoys wandering round in the rain, soaked through to the skin with a dull aching pain through his stomach for getting his last decent meal, just praying for the time when it's too numb to feel? Life isn't worth much when you get to that state of just waiting to die, with nowhere to wait. I remember the time, a long while ago, I stood on a bridge with a river below. Last food I'd had was 2 days before, and I never expected I'd need any more. That night was the worst I've ever known, with a dirty, wet fog. It chilled to the bone. Well, I clenched my teeth hard, and I set down my heel on the rail that my hands were too perished to feel. And a snivelling pup came out of the fog, and he whimpered at me. Just a scrap of a dog, bedraggled, dirty like me, just a wreck, with a sad little face on his poor scraggy neck. A few seconds more, I should have died. But he just licked my hand. I sat down and I cried. Well, I covered the poor little chap with my coat and I carried him off with a lump in my throat. Took him along to one place I knew where they might give him a bed and a biscuit or two. They weren't too keen on taking him in, but the fella in charge gave a bit of a grin when I said the dog could do with a meal. He said, "Oh, he'll be all right. But how do you feel?" Well, the hunger and cold I'd suffered that day had exhausted my limits. I just fainted away. Well, they fed me, they slept me, gave me a few bob, and the very next day they found me a job. I've worked ever since. I put a bit by. I'm comfortable now. I don't want to die. Got a nice little house on a quiet little street, decent-sized garden. It's always kept neat. I've worked there a lot when I've had time to spare. And I'm so proud of one little corner that's there. It's got the pick of the flowers round an old piece of stone. It stands on the corner, all on its own. It bears an inscription. Not very grand, because the letters are crooked, but, well, you'll understand. I wasn't too steady. I couldn't quite see it the time I carved it. Quite recently. These are the words I carved on that stone. Here lies my friend. When I was alone, hopeless, friendless, just lost in a fog, God saved my life with the help of a dog.